Hello everyone, my name is Jesse and welcome back to another Bakugan review. Today we're going to be taking a look at all of the main side characters from Season 1 of the show, Bakugan Battle Brawlers. Before we begin, I want to let you know that I do have separate videos for very specific things. So for instance, if you're looking at this list and thinking, where are the legendary warriors? They should be on here. They have their own video. It's back there, I made it a long time ago. You can go check it out. I also have separate videos on all the main character Bakugan, including all of Dan, Marucho, and Shun's Guardian Bakugan, all of the Chaos Bakugan, all of the Darkest Bakugan, all of the Subterra Bakugan, and all of the Evil Bakugan. So this would just be the side characters from Battle Brawlers. I do also want to mention in this video that I post Bakugan content regularly. If you like what you see, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on so you never miss an upload. I also want to do some honorable mentions because I know you guys will come for me in the comments. So here are some honorable mentions before we jump into the video. First off, I want to give an honorable mention to Jules' Subterra Centipoid, Jenny's Aqua Siege, Travis, who is Christopher's Bully and his Darkest Warriors, Akira and his Subterra Centipoid, Nene and her Ventus Ravenoid, and lastly Shuji with his Darkest Fear Ripper. So these are Bakugan in the show that were seen more often than others, but they didn't really have any significant roles, so I didn't include them in this video. They never really had any speaking parts either, the Bakugan themselves, so I decided to just give these guys honorable mentions and focus on the main ones. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. Alright, so before we begin, this is going to be the gate card we are going to be using to open all the Bakugan in this video. I feel like it was very fitting. This is the gate card Sirenoid. It says down here at the bottom, each Sirenoid Bakugan receives an additional G-Power bonus from this card. And you can see there, it's pretty good for Pyrus, Ventus, and Chaos. Surprisingly not for Aquas, which is super unfortunate. You would think that's what it would be, but it's not. Anyways, that is going to be the card that opens today's Bakugan. And up first, we have Pyrus Fourtress. This is an interesting Bakugan, and definitely not one that I was a fan of until the show kept going, and I kind of just got used to it. First off, let's take a look at the Bakugan itself. You have the nice Pyrus color, and that weird kind of bronze additional coloring they have. A little off for me, I don't know. Doesn't quite look good on this Bakugan, I don't think. But Pyrus symbol there. This is Chan Li's Guardian Bakugan. Let's go ahead and pop him open, talk more about him. Oh, didn't open. There we go. Okay. Go ahead and open his feet too. He does have two manual parts right there. Go ahead and place him down. Get a little zoom in, we can talk about him some more. Alright, so I'm going to put up pictures as I talk. But essentially, like I said before, this is Chan Li's Bakugan. Chan Li was a really cool character. I liked her. She had a lot of, spunk, I guess. A lot of energy, and she brought a lot to the show, I think. So I really liked that about her. Fourtress himself, as a Bakugan, was also super cool. He had these really unique abilities where he could, change his face. So, for instance, he had Face of Rage, and, his face would turn. But you had Face of Rage, Face of Grief, Face of Joy, and then there's one that's less common, most people don't know, but Face of Enlightenment. So, the main face, he would spawn with, or, open with, would be the Face of Enlightenment, and then it would change. So there's no actually known ability with the Face of Enlightenment. It's more like his stagnant starting face, which I thought was pretty cool and a really unique piece of trivia. My Fourtress here has 420 Gs, so, pretty strong, nothing to complain about, really. He does have a broken hand right here, so this is a really common thing with Fortresses. I actually have two of them like this, where this little piece here has, snapped. And so you can kind of tell his one arm is kind of laying lower than the others, so kind of unfortunate. But yeah, Fourtress is a really cool Bakugan. Definitely not my favorite by no means, but very cool nonetheless. So to close him, we're going to shut those manual parts to feet. And then all you do is close his front hands right there. And then these right here. Up next we have Harpus right here, Ventus Harpus. So really cool design on the ball, at least here. I like the Ventus kind of sharp designs that we have going down. Really cool. Really follows it as well on the top. Kind of lose it in the back, unfortunately, which is okay. But really cool. There's the Ventus symbol there. We're going to go and pop this open. So the legs are really small. They're actually itty bitty. Kind of hard to get out. There we go. So there are the legs. And then all we do is, I'll get a close up of this for you guys so you can see. And then, boom, Harpus. All right. So my Harpus here is 300 Gs, so significantly weaker than Fourtress. I'm going to go ahead and lay her down while I do some talking as per usual. Let's get a good look at her there. All right. And so Harpus is Komba O'Charlie's Bakugan. I think most of you guys remember Komba. He was the big fiery loudmouth character from the show. Eventually became like Shun's apprentice. I'm using air quotes there because it wasn't really official in any way. But he looked up to Shun, which was really cool. Harpus herself, I don't have any main abilities listed, but I do want to talk about her fighting style. It was basically to just taunt Bakugan, which I think is hilarious, because that's kind of what Harpies do, is they yip and chatter and scream and really try and unfocus the enemy. So Harpus fits that perfectly. Just taunting Bakugan until they get confused and don't know what they're doing is perfect, and it really fits her personality quite well. She also was, really almost nurturing in the show, which is unique, I think. Not a lot of Bakugan are like that, except maybe Tigrera a little bit. But yeah, she was always looking out for like Skyrus or Sirenoid or anyone she was battling with. So I thought that made her pretty unique. The ball form itself also does a good job capturing exactly like what she looks like, I think. It's really reminiscent to me of Monoris, so really cool there, I think. I don't know what's going on right here with like the chest. I don't quite know what that's trying to replicate. But then, you've got her hair and stuff like that, which is really cool. So to close Harpus, all we do is shut the feet right there. And then for this one, I actually feel like you have to close everything together at the same time. So you kind of just have to do that. And that usually gets her back together every time. Sometimes if you do it like wings first, or this headpiece first, tailpiece first, whatever it is, they kind of get stuck. And so that's the best way I found to do this. Alright, and up next is Subterra Cycloid. So this is the newest addition to my collection, and actually what's sparked the whole reason for this video. If you have not checked out my review of this guy, I'm going to give a brief rundown here in the video, but I suggest going to check that video out so you're more like in tuned and understand what's going on. But I'll go ahead and pop Cycloid open. So he's got two manual parts here, just the feet, and then you have to open him up. Sometimes he gets a little stuck with these feet. There we go. So sometimes you have to put him on the magnet first, then the feet. And then he's got a little horn there. So Cycloid, really cool, 400 Gs. Mine's a little scuffed. I really like how his hands pop out. I really like his back design. I think that's so cool with like the little like spikes and stuff like that. And I also love his horn. His face, it could be better. It's cool though. So Cycloid here is pretty rare. He's a gacha Bakugan from Japan. They could only be won or found in blind bags, and so they ended up becoming quite expensive on the open market. And now you're looking at, anywhere from $300 to $600. Really depends. A lot of people are looking for these, and a lot of people are like pretty shocked. They're like, wow, there's so much. Personally, I think they're not worth the amount people are paying for them, but because they're gacha Bakugan and because they're so hard to get, and even hard to get from like Japan itself, they are pretty rare and pretty hard to find. So very fortunate that I have one, and I'm very fortunate that I'm able to make this video. But anyways, so for Cycloid here, Cycloid has a bunch of very cool like ability cards, I think. So in the show, he had his right and left Giganti, where his hand grew super big and he could like inflict damage basically. So right Giganti adds 100 Gs to Cycloid, and the left Giganti actually nullifies an opponent's gate card. It was also pretty cool because he had like a giant rock hammer that he could like smash things with, which I thought was pretty cool. I don't know why like he had this. I feel like if Hammer Gorham was gonna have like a hammer instead of like his like weird scythe thing, I feel like Hammer Gorham should have had the giant rock hammer and he should have had the scythe. I don't know, I guess they're trying to make him look more like caveman like, I guess, barbaric maybe. I wasn't a super big fan of like Cycloid in the show. I thought his character was quite annoying. What I did like though was his partner Billy Gilbert. Billy was super cool, kind of like a baseball stud. Had a lot of chemistry with Julie. Really liked Billy. I thought his whole character development was awesome. I really liked when he threw Cycloid like a baseball, like his hat flew off. Thought that was really cool. And they really bounce off each other in the show, so that made him, like, you know, more points for him, I guess. Kind of got rid of some of his weird antics and annoyingness I found in the show and really balanced it out. So overall, I really do like Cycloid. He just has his moments. So to close Cycloid here, we're going to shut the 2 manual parts on the bottom, which are his feet. And then he's got the little horn here, that closes. And then we're going to shut the head like so. And then just put the arms together. And that is Cycloid. Super easy. Up next on the list is Sirenoid. Sirenoid is probably my favorite one on this list. I absolutely love Sirenoid, and you know, even the gate card itself really just reflects how cool she is. So this is one of the most unique ball forms I personally think I've seen, with the little tail here and like the little circles. Like, you don't really get that anywhere else, which I think is, you know, probably one of the best traits ever. So to go ahead and pop her open, she's got these little grooves actually on her fins, I guess that's what you call them, because she doesn't really have legs. And they can actually pop open like so. And we'll go and pop the other one. They're actually kind of hard to catch. There we go. And Sirenoid pops open like this. Easy, right? Super easy. My Sirenoid here has 630 Gs. Actually quite a strong Bakugan. So if you ever want to use it in battle, I definitely could, because most of my decks are around, you know, 600 to 700 Gs that I play with. So I could definitely build a deck with her, which would actually be pretty fun. I might do that. So I do want to talk about Sirenoid a little bit because she is my favorite. So Klaus von Hertzen is partners with Sirenoid, and he's a cool character. I really liked him. He had a lot of interactions with Alice and Chan Li and just pretty much everyone, and he really like showed himself as like the prominent leader out of all of these people that emerged, basically. But Sirenoid herself has some super cool abilities. She uses this magical lyre, which can kind of like soothe or draw in Bakugan, similar to like an actual siren from Greek mythology, where they would sing and attract sailors and end up drowning them. So similarly, Sirenoid can do the same thing, where she can kind of soothe and draw Bakugan to her, and she can also create waves and go underwater. So I think that's super cool, really unique ability that you don't see from any other Bakugan. You see it from some Aquos Bakugan, but it's not quite the same. So a little trivia here, one of her ability cards uses the term Anthemusa, and that basically comes from a small group of islands where the Roman poets thought that sirens might lurk. When this card's played in the game, the Bakugan is attracted to her gate card and defeated instantly. So it kind of just gives an homage to sirens, and just, you know, once you hear their song, like, you're pretty much dead. And I think that's super cool and a really, really powerful ability. I also really like her crown right here, just to, you know, show that she's like queen or whatever. Really love that. So to close Sirenoid, all we do is tuck her feet in, her little fins. And then all you do is actually flip her tail on her head and then lock that together. Super easy. If you do not have a Sirenoid of any kind, I highly recommend it. They're just cool Bakugan. Alright, up next is Tentaclear. I'm going to be honest, I don't know what to say about this one. This is a strange Bakugan, but we have to review it. So I think I do like the fact that Tentaclear's got all these like nice chaos stripes going down the gold. Almost got like an eye right here, which is like hinting at what he's about to do and be. Even got this right here. I don't know why the feet aren't colored either. So there's a lot of like odd things about him. Very quirky Bakugan, which I guess fits. So he's got 2 manual parts. Most people probably ignore these because they're actually kind of hard to spot. But there's 2 manual parts right here, and then they actually just balance him so he can look at you, basically. Mine here has 280 Gs with right there, and then he's an odd Bakugan. Like, I don't think anyone's expecting a giant eye when they think of Bakugan. But this is the Guardian Bakugan of Julio Santana. Again, another really strange character that I think a lot of people kind of look over. Do I have any Tentaclear fans in here? Is there anyone who's a diehard Tentaclear fan? If you are, let me know. Tentaclear is just strange. He never actually speaks. It's probably because he just literally doesn't have a mouth, but he can, like, scream when he comes out of ball form. Like, when you, like, throw him and he stands, he'll, like, yell and stuff, like, make, like, a garbled monster noise. So, I don't really know what's going on there. He's probably got some kind of telepathy or something like that. I will say, though, this Bakugan has probably some of the strongest and most useful abilities in the entire game. From the entire show, especially. The ability to just straight blind your opponents, like completely make them blind and not be able to see, and to, like, shut down their gate cards and stuff, makes this Bakugan really, really stand out. Probably one of my favorite things about it. Just that it can lock things down in any kind of battle throughout the show. There's not much else to Tentaclear, just his eye. To close him, it's pretty easy. You just shut all these pieces, and then you want to make sure that you do the bottom one first and then the top one, and they'll kind of just click together, and then make sure you shut your feet. And yeah, that's Tentaclear. Ah yes, so now we're on to Reaper. So when I made the main villains video, a lot of you guys gave me hate because I didn't include Reaper in any of that. I just had him as an honorable mention. Well, thankfully, now is his time to shine, so you can't come after me. Yeah, so Reaper was Masquerade's original Guardian Bakugan. I'll go ahead and pop him open. Masquerade's original Guardian Bakugan, 490 Gs there. I use this guy in a deck. He's actually super fun. A little hard to roll, though. So I think most of you guys at this point know who Masquerade is. But this was his original Guardian Bakugan. So Reaper helped kind of get Hydronoid kicked off and gave him a lot of power. The one thing that I really like about Reaper is that he was basically super ruthless. This Bakugan had no problem sending other Bakugan to the Doom Dimension, like, whatsoever. And I think that's probably because of, like, you know, he's literally the Grim Reaper. Like, he's literally styled off the Grim Reaper with a scythe, so it's kind of his job to do that. He does, however, slight spoiler alert if you've not seen the show. I don't know why you're watching this if you haven't seen some of the show, but he does end up getting sent to the Doom Dimension himself. Later on down, the Brawlers meet him, and he's kind of just filled with, like, malice, you know? He's kind of just, like, upset that he's there. I don't know, some people might argue he deserved it after he sent all those Bakugan to the Doom Dimension himself. But it's a really unique kind of piece to the show that I really think sets it apart from a lot of other things. Also, fun fact, this is one of the very few Bakugan to appear in all attributes. You can actually get Reaper in every single attribute. But this is most of Reaper, like, there's not much you're missing. There's the back here, which is pretty cool. He does have horns here that some people can kind of miss, like his actual ball is like right there, his horns. So if you look at him head on, he's kind of got Grim Reaper horns. But yeah, so to shut Reaper, we just close his little head, and then everything locks in. And that's Reaper. Alright, this is probably going to be a quick one, but I did want to mention Juggernoid. So I'm going to pop him open here. Yes, this is a B1 Juggernoid I have, and it is 300 Gs, and I'm sure most of you guys are like, oh yeah, I remember that. So actually, does his mouth open? Sorry, complete side note. Does this mouth open? No, it does not. That sucks. Okay. Complete side note, sorry. But yeah, so this was Christopher's Guardian Bakugan. So if you remember, there was a little kid named Christopher who was struggling to brawl. Alice kind of trained him and kind of like egged him on to be a better battle brawler, essentially. And him and his Juggernoid bonded, and he also aided in the battle against Naga in the final episodes. So I thought it was interesting. He is a Guardian Bakugan. He speaks and all that. He does a good job kind of protecting Christopher. He helps Hydronoid fight in that one final battle, like one of the final episodes, which I thought was just super cool. And I wanted to highlight him on here because I feel like if I didn't and I just put him as an honorable mention, it wouldn't be doing him enough justice. I feel like this Bakugan, not only does it deserve more credit, but it's just cool. And this is also one of the very few Bakugan, I believe, that comes in all attributes. I think it does. I'm pretty sure that it does. Yeah, but to close Juggernoid, all you do is close his head, pop that up, and then he's got a little tail piece you pop in right there. I really recommend, again, if you don't have a Juggernoid, find yourself a Juggernoid. They're a cool Bakugan, very, very, very cool, and worth having. Up next, we have Wavern. This is my custom painted Wavern, so I don't have a Chaos one or anything like that, but I do have a show accurate kind of custom painted one I did myself. This is Joe Brown's Guardian Bakugan, and I believe most of you are familiar with Wavern. So we're going to pop her open. She's got 2 manual parts here. Excuse her 1 foot. For some reason, it's just loose. So we're going to pop her open here. She does struggle a little bit because of the paint. There we go. Wavern, welcome, welcome. So this one doesn't have any G's. I believe before I painted it was like 630 or something like that. I can't quite remember. But Wavern is a fan favorite, I think. I put her as a side character because she wasn't like one of the main battle brawlers, and so that's like what I'm going by here. But really love Wavern. I love the color scheme. I liked her voice in the English dub. I thought it was really cool. But most people know who Wavern is. She is an attribute-less Bakugan that holds the Infinity Core, one of the main plot points of the show. She's also Drago's love interest and Naga's sister. If you don't know who Naga is, he's the evil character in the show alongside Masquerade. She also shares some very similar abilities to the Chaos attribute. And is even shown in, I believe it's episode 34, she's actually shown to be registered as a Chaos Bakugan. So I don't know if that's just like they didn't know what to put there, or like the creators didn't, or what. I have no idea. It's really kind of just like a funny homage there, maybe, that like Chaos is supposed to be her attribute, but she is a white one. She has no attribute in the show, and I don't know, it just kind of sets her apart. One thing I do really love here, I'll go ahead and like kind of show you Wavern really quick. So I have all that painted, her back's painted like this. Looks really cool that way. But one thing I really love about Wavern is her abilities. So I'm going to read off these abilities to you guys and just like listen to them. They're the coolest ones. So Spirit Eye Flash reverses the gate card's effect. I just love the name. A Big Bang Blaze nullifies the opponent's gate card or ability card and allows the player to reuse an ability card. Also super cool. Shining Pyrus. It has 3 possible different effects depending on the user's choice. It can nullify the opponent's gate card, it can nullify the opponent's ability card, and it can also swap the G power between Wavern and the opponent. So I just think those are super powerful. I'm not sure if those are like Infinity Core powers or what, but really cool. Her human, Joe Brown, was also really, really cool, and like I didn't know why they had a webmaster, but it's still pretty cool. So to close Wavern, you're going to shut her feet right there, and then she's just like every other Dragonoid. You kind of just shut her wings, and then you close her head, like so. And yeah, that's Wavern. Alright, last up on our list is Naga. This is Hal G's Guardian Bakugan, I guess. I don't even know if you can call it a Guardian Bakugan, but this is the Bakugan Hal G uses. Hal G, spoiler alert, is Alice's grandfather. He was exposed to the Silent Core, and Naga kind of used him to, I guess, do his bidding. Again, just like Wavern, he is a white one. He is an attribute-less Bakugan, but he seeks and holds the Silent Core and is bent on taking over the world. Classic evil stuff. Let's go and pop him open. Like Wavern, he's got 2 feet, and then you just pop him down. Naga here has 650 Gs, so a really strong Bakugan. And yeah, I really, really like the teeth on this guy. I think those are so cool. Like, that mouth is vicious looking, and I love it. Yeah, very intimidating. I really like it. And so his like whole main goal in the show is to capture both the Silent and Infinity Core and kind of merge them to make the perfect core, which is what Drago ends up getting. But he basically just wants to take over the world. He's also very different from Wavern, which is something I picked up on while kind of like researching for this episode. He just comes across as more skeletal and ragged. Like, even from the beginning, like, he looks more dead inside. But once he obtains the Silent Core, he gets like more veins and becomes more purpley. And this is like considered Naga's evolution, which is Silent Naga, which they never actually made. Some people have taken to 3D printing or like modeling and tried to make it, which is really cool. There are some very, very amazing recreations of this, and a lot of people want one. I would personally love to have one. But for now, we just have regular Naga before he got a hold of the Silent Core, which is okay. If you didn't know, this version of Naga, so there's plenty of different attributes and styles of Naga, but this specific version came with the Nintendo DS version of the game all the way back in like 2007, so it kind of came with the game itself. It would be in the packaging and you could take it out and stuff. This Bakugan's not particularly rare. You might think, oh, it's exclusive in the DS. It's not that, it can't be that easy to find. No, it's actually not too bad. A lot of people bought the game. It was actually one of the better selling games of that year. I think even I bought it. I'm pretty sure I did. I don't know if I had the Bakugan though. I can't remember. But yeah, it's not super rare. You can probably find this online for about 30 bucks. But I would highly recommend you get one of these if you don't have one, just because of how cool they are. Yeah. And so to close Naga, we're just going to shut his feet. And then again, just like Wavern and any other Dragonoid, you shut the wings. Like so. And then you close it. I do, however, really like this. Like, the wing design is incredible. I wouldn't say there's too much else going on for the guy. It's a nice pearl white with this really unique color blue you don't see anywhere else, but I really like this design. That's so cool. And yeah, that's Naga. And that is it for that list, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments below, what was your favorite Bakugan? Which one of these would you like to have the most? Which one of these was your favorite in the show? And with that, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.